Do it again. We're currently in our offices in Manchester City Centre in the Northern Quarter, Carver's Warehouse, 77 Dale Street. Glad you found it. I am Chief Executive of a software company and consultancy as well, working with public sector organisations.
I'm Simon Cowley. I work for Mark at the Social Profit Calculator. I was attracted to S.H.I.N.E because of the nature of what I saw on the Facebook. I wasn't sure whether it was a personal development kind of weekend, whether it was about recovery. I didn't know, and that's what attracted me. The not knowing really. When I got there, I was even more surprised, just by the general kind of general structure and the setting for the weekend. And I'm glad I went. I'm so glad I went because it's changed my life.
Simon told me about S.H.I.N.E. That was the reason where I first got it from. But I think I don't get much time to myself in terms of life outside of work because it's just really hectic. Constantly working 7 days a week and trying to deal with some of the life issues and other stuff around family and friends and relationships and stuff like that. So it's just on a constant cycle. So I've not had a break for a while, and I think it was an opportunity to actually go on this and have a bit of a break in terms of what I thought, and then actually engage with what was happening and trying to find myself in terms of some sort of spirituality around my own personality, find who I am really. And it was absolutely brilliant. It was amazing. It opened my eyes and started to make me think about myself, and I've started to look outside of myself as well in terms of who I am and what the good qualities that I have. But it's really changed my life, and I've been progressed. I feel like I progress every day since then. Having no time for yourself, in despair and feeling like I'm hitting rock, peaks and troughs. So rock bottom. I'm going into a rock bottom, and constantly working all of the time, and then not really thinking about myself, and then having a complete blowout, as it were, in relation to that, which would make me feel worse. So it's like a peak in terms of work, and then going to a really, really low point. And I needed to just balance myself out. In terms of that, having no time for myself and constantly working is probably, it's escaping as well as actually, keeping yourself busy and all that sort of stuff. I just needed something else, to just actually start gaining control of my life again. I think really for me it was a bit of it. I was in a bit of despair, in terms of myself and where I was going. I had no focus really, and I was just carrying it on with what life was, letting all the pressures overtake me, and then just blowing myself out completely, not wanting to talk to people, disappearing, just had enough, And then after that I'd think to myself, well, I can't do that. I've got too many responsibilities. I've got people that I need to think about at work. And it was affecting my relationships with people in work, clients, partners and things like that.
I reached a point. Of no return of where I was heading really. I knew where I was heading. I've been in recovery from substances and other behaviours for quite a number of years. However, I had quite a difficult year last year. I got divorced. I was homeless at one point. Recently I kind of resigned from a job that I felt I couldn't do anymore. So I was kind of in no man's land, so to speak. So S.H.I.N.E just came at the right time. Even the right day, because any other day I may not have signed on the dotted line. But again, was it coincidence? I don't know. Or was it something greater than me? Was it something greater than S.H.I.N.E? Was it the two connected? And it was just at that moment where I needed to free myself from me.
It was really amazing venue in terms of from start to finish, I think. So when you actually came up to the hall itself, it was just quite taken back, to be honest, because it was such a nice building, and I thought to myself, well, where are we staying? And so it was just greeted at the very start, really welcoming. I was quite surprised from the moment I actually got to the door. Again, with no expectations about what was going to happen, and the whole thing, the venue was absolutely amazing. It created a really peaceful environment, and really relaxed environment.
I felt out of my comfort zone because I've never ever stayed anywhere like that in my life. And I think I said to one of the girls, I think, oh, next time I get married, I'll arrange to get married here, because there was a wedding going on out the back, so I was just having a bit of a joke, but I did mean it.
You getting married again?
Yeah, yeah. not until I do the next Shine. Yeah, but it was just amazing. The room was amazing. The food was amazing, but the ambience and the tranquility and the peace of the place, and the countryside, and apart from the lake, it was wonderful. I thought the way the process was kind of constructed and delivered was done in a very, very unusual and groundbreaking, kind of innovative, caring, loving fashion, and that day too was magical for me. That worked for me was the dancing. I've never danced. I lived through the Manchester era in the 90s where it was all about dancing and doing other stuff, and I never danced. I was always stuck to a wall, paranoid. But on the Sunday morning I got up and I danced, and I didn't dance in any kind of fashion. I just let go, and I just performed like a child. And it was the inner child stuff, and getting to know me as an inner child, as a little boy, and connecting to that, and then having the ability to connect to others just by simple eye contact. So I got something that I wasn't expecting. I've been in recovery for a long time, and I've done many interventions, many forms of recovery, from prescriptions to kind of meetings, and that was 2 days just kind of what I needed.
It's where the spiritual process kicked in about who I am, understanding about my emotional needs and how they've not been met, throughout my life, and through family, and through the things that happen in childhood, to what drives me, what underpins me and drives me in terms of that really, really dark place, and the way I behave. So it's like I build things up in my life, and then I knock it down like Lego. It's about me and how I behave, and being able to recognise those things around the peaks and the troughs, which are my triggers. But then being able to see that process that's happening to me inside myself, then I can actually do something about it. I feel like I've come right out of it, and I can live life, even though it's got its peaks and troughs and all that sort of stuff, and its ups and downs with everything. As long as I can recognise the low parts and the warning signs around where I can take myself to, which is a really dark place.
Music was probably one of my first loves, and then I lost all kind of interest in music and art and everything throughout the years, and now I've just bought myself some it's called trippy artwork for my new flat. Yeah. Psychedelic trippy artwork. It's quite amazing. Once I'd kind of realised what was happening during the process, I was dreading my actual track coming on, but for some reason I was able to connect with the sadness of other people's choice of music, and also towards the latter part of the process, towards the joy of other people's music. And I think the constant, because the music was played throughout the whole of the 2 days, it wasn't, in fits and spurts, it was constant, whether we were eating our breakfast, whether we were eating our lunch, dinner, the music was on in the background, and the music played a big part of the I don't know, the therapeutic kind of angle of the weekend. it worked for me, and I know it worked for a lot of other people, because we were having conversations in the breaks and stuff around the music, like a punk rock song just gone wild. When we were doing our step fives, just kind of bouncy, I just felt like this is me for the future. Anytime I get a twisted feeling of any sort, I'm going to put a piece of paper down on the floor, stick that track on and just bounce all over it.
The music one was really big for me, because it was a song that I put on there, the one that puts me in a low mood, and it irritated me, that song really irritated. From growing up as a child, I used to have to listen to it with a drunken father.
I've been in recovery, as I've stated, quite a number of years. I've done treatment centres, I've done therapy, I've done 12-step programs, but I've never experienced anything quite like some of those exercises we did on the S.H.I.N.E. Did a visualisation of, like Mark said, around going deeper into where our behaviours and and attitudes and using or drinking takes us, and I found that quite, what's the word I'm looking for, traumatic. But the whole weekend, apart from those 2 steps, was very loving. It was very loving. It was very caring. 21st century way of doing the steps, which I've not seen before, because people are too scared. People are kind of locked into the norms and traditions.
You know, there was something about feeling normal. Yeah. You know, that there are people that have just got like self-confidence issues or things that have happened to them. They're not going off there and drinking, but their self-esteem is really low, you know, about how they feel about themselves, which is the same dark place. The fire thing, you know, that were good. Singing at the fire.
Yeah, singing at the fire.
I could have carried on all night, couldn't you?
I think we did, didn't we?
Yeah. Everyone was leaving and we were still sat there singing, waiting for the fire to go out.
You know, I think what a way to express yourself. You know, when you've got that inner pain and you can't kind of verbalise it, or you can't express it physically, you know, express it in art.
Being able to, it's like I've walked away with, like I was carrying all this shit. Yeah. And then it's just, I'm not carrying it anymore. Obviously, between now and the next S.H.I.N.E, I'm going to be carrying loads of more shit. But, you know, I can get rid of it. I've got a release for it, and I think that that's important. I've noticed it in you. Things have changed.
Yeah. I actually feel, for the first time in my life, I feel as though I'm in recovery. I feel as though I'm in recovery. I've got freedom. I've got kind of the ability to express myself better. I've got the ability to see life differently.
Just looking forward to the next one. You're doing more stuff as well, just trying new things. It just opens your mind. I think I just feel like a normal person now. You know, that past is past, isn't it? It's about, you know, how you feel now, today, and moving forward in your life. Since I've not been working as much as what I used to do, and that's a really big thing for me. It's quite hard as well, because I start getting emotional detachment from work when I'm not doing it at weekends, but I've not been working weekends. Don't tell them that in the office though, because I keep making the pretense that I'm working every weekend.
They already know when you're working, because they're working as well.
I know. It's sort of saved me, and I know that sounds a bit corny in some ways, but it's a completely different way of looking at it, rather than going through your traditional recovery, which is focused on drinking or drugs or whatever it is that is going on, big focus around that. It was more about being able to live, but it's the best thing that I've done.
It blew me away and reignited my recovery, for which I'm truly grateful.
Got to say it's the best thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.